Hey folks, how are you all doing? It's Pt.2 again. Well, this video is basically a follow-up video, following up a video I made about a month and a half ago, which is how I got better at guitar part 1, which is about how I mix influences together, basically build up your own style essentially, and how I basically just turned licks into little motifs that I can call my own. And if you want to go and check out that video, please go back through my previous videos. It's dead obvious how I got better at guitar part 1. It might even be on the side here somewhere. But nevertheless, this video is about building speed. A question I get asked all the time through various different forms, like do I have a practice routine? Do I do exercises? Do I have a certain practice routine? Blah blah blah. And all of these variations on the same theme. And simple fact is, no to all of them. I don't really have a practice routine of any kind or any sort of regimented practice schedule. I don't really think about it that way. To me that's boring and honestly it's just no fun. Homie, don't play if it's boring. So I just go after what excites me the most. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is picking. Because a lot of you guys want to know how I built my speed up with these things. And yes, exercises are a great deal. I didn't depend on them too much. I learned how to pick faster simply just through various solos and discovering new little niche ideas. And of course everybody knows the famous Paul Gilbert idea, which was the that kind of idea. And basically how I developed that was simply by sussing out how I like to pick in the first place. I don't tend to use downstrokes, I tend to use upstrokes for some reason, especially with the pentatonic stuff. I start with an upstroke. That kind of thing. And it simply started out by getting comfortable. There was no metronome involved. I just thought, how fast can I play it without, as soon as you've learned essentially what the lick is, you've gotten your head around what to play precisely. So it could be a pentatonic 6 lick, like in the style of Zakk Wylde, for example. So first of all, you've got to know what you have to play first. And obviously that's the lick that's pretty self-explanatory. So and what I essentially did was think, how fast can I play it already? So I say I might get halfway through the lick and find a slip up here. It gets quiet. So what I'd learned to do was essentially play the whole lick at a comfortable speed before I started to perfect it. So it could be my bad, sorry. Then eventually I'll get faster and faster to the point where it's sloppy, then I'll go back to gear 1. So gradually I'll build it up until it's comfortable. And always think about this. This is one lesson I've learned for building speed, is put speed as your last priority, if that makes sense. Clarity before speed. Because the more, as the notes are clearer, you don't have to think about playing as fast. Like take keyboard solos. Like every single note with a keyboard, I know it's a different instrument, but every note comes out perfect. So you don't have to worry about making a mistake. So you can go all over the keyboard and you'll come out perfect every time because there's no sort of clutter or anything. So the smoother you are, the faster it sounds, even if that doesn't make sense. And that's very obvious with a lick, like even if it's like a hammer on a pull-off. So that's how it all transpires. Make sure you put clarity first. And also, when it comes to building speed, there aren't really any particular licks that leap out to make you better at speed. It all comes down to simply how mobile your wrist is. And a lot of people try to go for that sort of Eddie Van Halen picking thing, where that eruption. That kind of thing. And it's not, to me, it's a very, all I can do it. It's a very, I don't know, you just lack control. That I certainly do anyway when I do a lick like that. There's no consistency. So I mean, it just doesn't come out the same. So basically what you've got to do is basically anchor your wrist somewhere so that it only moves enough to play what you need to play, so there's no movement wasted. Economy of motion, I think Steve Vai calls it. Anyway. And another great lick, now that I'm on it, I nearly did it then, is this lick. It's an Eddie Van Halen lick. So basically that's just a 3-note per string thing. So pick for the B string. So hammer on. Then alternate pick the rest on the high E string. Then repeat the cycle. And another thing too, a lot of people ask me about what pick I use for building speed. I kind of use a variety, to be honest. I'm using, for this video, a stone pick. Really awesome pick, actually. It's like a coconut style pick that my buddy of mine, Charlie Hicks, gave me. Really cool slide player. Check him out if you haven't already. And also, I tend to use Jazz 3s, Jazz 3 XLs, the big red ones. And also Dunlop Blue Tortex. I think they're 0.8 mil. In fact, I don't know. But in fact, you guys probably know better than I do. In fact, no, it's a lie, the 1 mil. But anyway. Another thing when it comes to building speed, so we've talked about picking, is the left hand. And to be honest, I think you should crack the left hand before the right hand when it comes to playing. And that really does come down to exercises and getting your dexterity down. So. It's also important too, is that the fastest combination of fingers, fully enough, a lot of people think it's these three. It's not. It's actually your first. Well, take that if that's an appropriate hand gesture for you. But it's these fingers together. They're the fastest when they work together. So learn to use your pinky. It's just as simple as that. There's no shortcut with that. So. And then learn to mix it up with all the other fingers. So try this is a fiddly one. So that's another way of doing it. So basically start off slow with little alternate patterns and just work them up. They're basically like warm-up exercises, if anything. They're not like a proper usable lick, I would say. That's all with one hand. So and also as long as you can get them down hard as well, so that you're not wasting any motion, any time, or anything like that. You can just go on for ages. And if that's just your left hand, once you start to add the right hand and pick in the right places, it sounds like you're playing way faster than you already are, and you're just reinforcing the notes that you're playing. You're not adding anything, you're not changing anything. So it could be, take a look like this, like we just did before. I'm only picking in little parts. I'm using alternate picking sparingly, and that really does add to the speed somehow. It's like some form of, it's not a shortcut, it's like an illusion, if you will. So it's like a... You hear me do that all the time. I do it way too much, actually. And when it comes to building speed as well, if you'd like to zoom out, please, cameraman, got my bro behind the camera. Thing to do as well, just some words of wisdom here. It's not a race. You've got to clarify that speed is just a tool. It's not an item of social acceptance in the guitar world. It doesn't matter whether you can play fast. You don't hear The Edge playing fast, do you? Or you don't hear Johnny Marr playing fast or anything like that. And look at how good those guys are. Speed's just simply a tool of expression, and it's about creating words essentially in your guitar playing. It's like a conversational thing if you treat music as a language, like I do in the sense. So you can talk really fast, but sometimes it can just be a skill. If you talk slow with more pronunciation, there's more expression. If that makes sense? That makes everything as I've said just now completely redundant almost, but it's not. Building speed is awesome, and if you can do it well, you are on fire. You're on you're in another dimension, as it were. But the thing to do is be patient, be very resilient. Don't be stubborn with something, and don't quit as soon as you hear something. A lot of people go, "Oh, I quit this song after I've heard the first arpeggio or something," and I think that's just ridiculous, to be honest. It's just, you shouldn't even be playing if you've got that mentality. It's an uphill struggle every day if you're learning to play guitar, but it's a good struggle, you know. And another cool thing too with building speed, just as a final thing, it's not about how many scales you can play. It's about playing little motifs, little phrases, if you can call them that. So it could be little things like I've done this way too much. Let's try and do some tapping or something. So it could be something like this. I love using stings. I think they're called stings. And what they do is essentially, it's just about but going back and forth, and the more you practice little things like that, the stronger your hands get. You learn to channel your energy into the guitar. A lot of people tend to play fast really lightly, and it turns into a blur, and therefore the fun is gone. What you need to do is channel strength into your playing. And what I think, players that I think do this so well are guys like Andy James, Rick Graham, Satchel. Steve Vai is one, although he's got a very light touch. Gus G, you could say, is one. He picks really hard, but he's got a really low action. So he has a really light touch on the left-hand side of things. And when it comes to playing as well, it's just, as I say, just channel strength and great exercises to use, but don't depend on them. Please don't depend on them, because you'll end up getting lost in a world of just exercises, and that's no fun. But basically, learn to channel your energy into the guitar with your left hand using things like this that I've just shown you. And also these picking exercises. Pentatonic 6 thing as well. Another guitar player you need to listen to if you want to learn how to build up pentatonic speed is Sam Coulson from Asia. You have to check him out. And also, it's a really great thing as well. I'm sorry, I know I'm rabbiting on here, but I'm trying to do this for your benefit here. When it comes to building speed, of course, you need to be resilient, you need to be passionate about it, but don't become dependent on it. If you can blend a little bit of speed with a little bit of slow and meaningfulness, if anything, try and... the way I want to position my playing is probably 70-30 in the favour of slow stuff, and then use speed as sparingly as possible, so that it's more effective. When something does come up, it's even more effective and even more, wow, amazing. So take a solo like, I don't know, it could be, I don't know, 10 Strikes You're Out. I know it's quite an upbeat tempo song anyway, 10 Strikes You're Out by Steel Panthers. There's nothing really that fast there until you get to this. And it's basically a, you just use speed sparingly, be patient. I'm just summarising everything we've talked about. Be patient, use speed sparingly, take your time, don't rush, enjoy it, and think about why you want to use this speed. Just think, why am I doing it in the first place? And don't think about it just to impress the other guy or the other girl or whatever it is. Think about what it is on a musical level, because that's what you're playing at the end of the day. It's not a rush, it's not a race, it's not a competition, and I'm certainly not the fastest player out there, and I never will be, and I've always thought about it that way. Nevertheless, please like and subscribe. I hope you've absorbed my words of wisdom, and have fun, build up your speed, enjoy it. I'll see you later. Please like and subscribe. Check out the previous video if you haven't already on mixing influences, and I'll be doing another one of these lessons, sort of guitar lectures, if you will, in the near future. So we've covered mixing influences, now building speed. I'll probably, I don't know, give me some ideas for the next one. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thanks very much. Bye bye. Please like and subscribe.